Let's now look at what is the conjugate of a complex number. Let's start with a complex number as usual. Let's visualize it rather than look at it algebraically. It will be much easier to remember what a conjugate is, understand it completely, as well as understand all the properties. So let's first draw our complex number. Let's say we have the regular complex number a plus ib. Let's say this is the real axis, this is the imaginary axis, a plus ib. So you'll take a units on your real axis, b along the imaginary, right? And this will be your point, a plus ib, right? Remember, you'll draw the line also. Correct? Whenever you draw a complex number, always plot the point and draw the line to the origin, because length of line will be nothing but your modulus, and this angle will be your argument, angle theta. Now, what is conjugate? Conjugate is nothing but reflecting this complex number about the real axis. So imagine the real axis to be a mirror and your complex number getting reflected above it, right? So the reflection will look something like this. This is nothing but the conjugate of your complex number. The conjugate of a complex number is typically represented by z bar. So if your complex number is z, the conjugate would be z bar. Now if you look at z and z bar, the lengths have to be exactly the same, because that's what happens in mirror images, right? If I stand in front of a mirror and you take my mirror image, the size of me here in person and inside the mirror in the image will look exactly the same, right? The same thing happens with this, any reflection. So the length of z and the length of z bar will be exactly the same. In other words, the modulus of z will be equal to the modulus of z bar. Similarly, what can you see about the angle? It's a reflection, right? So whatever angle z makes above the x-axis, the same angle z bar will make below the x-axis. So these two angles will be equal, which means if this is theta, this will be minus theta, right? So that means the argument of z is going to be minus argument of z bar, right? Or argument of z bar is minus the argument of z. This is theta, this will be minus theta, right? That's your first property. Now all of these we are going to call as properties, so you'll see them with numbers coming on the side. Essentially, most of them, once you visualize it, once you draw a complex number, most of them will be obvious to you. You'll automatically be able to understand. So you don't need to memorize 12 or 13 properties. Once you understand the concept of a conjugate and you visualize it in a graph, you yourself will be able to figure out what the property is, right? Like the second property. Second property is when z is purely real. Now, I don't need to really teach you this property. You'll be able to see it yourself. What happens if z is purely real? This is z. Purely real means let's bring it down to the real axis. What happened? You saw z bar moving along with it, right? Because z bar is its image. What happened? The moment it became purely real, z and z bar overlapped with each other, right? That is what the property says, that if a complex number is purely real, then z is equal to z bar. It's clearly visible in the diagram, right? Because basically theta becomes 0. Length was already the same. If 0 and minus 0 are the same, right? So if theta becomes 0, then angle also becomes same. Once length is same, angle is same, it is the same complex number. If you had turned z the other way around, even then it would have worked, right? If I turn z this way, so that it's lying on the negative side of the real axis, same thing will happen to z bar. Again, they'll perfectly coincide, right? So if it's purely imaginary, if it's purely real, z is equal to z bar. What should the third property be logically? Purely imaginary, right? That's why you don't need to remember these things. It's very easy to understand. Once you understand the concept, it's very easy to visualize these properties, right? So let's look at purely imaginary now. The same z again. Purely imaginary means we are going to move it and take it on the imaginary axis or the y-axis. What did you see happening to z bar? It coincided perfectly, right, with the negative side of the imaginary axis. The only difference now is, instead of being equal, they are actually negatives of each other, right? Now you see z and z bar. Z bar is nothing but the reflection of z about the origin, which is what happens when you take negative, right? When we learned subtraction, when we took z2 and negative of z2, we basically reflected it about the origin, right? That is what is happening here. So now your z bar is equal to minus z, right? Because length is anyway the same again. So modulus is the same. The angles are negatives of each other. Here it is plus 90, here it's minus 90, right? So z bar is nothing but minus z. If you had turned it the other way, same thing would have happened, right? So if I start with z, turn it all the way around and bring it to the negative side of the imaginary axis, what do you see happening to z bar? It also turned all the way around and went to the positive side of the imaginary axis. So again, your same relationship holds true, which is z bar is minus